You got to understand something right now. You are not average. You've never been average. You've never looked like them, moved like them, thought like them, and you were never supposed to. Deep inside your DNA, there's something that says, I'm not like the rest. You were born with something they can't teach. You were born with something money can't buy. You got fire in your bones. You got a spirit that refuses to quit. Most people, they tap out when it gets hard. Most people need someone clapping for them, cheering them on. But you keep pushing when nobody's watching. You grind when the lights are off. You show up when everyone else called in. That's not average. That's different. Everybody wants to be successful until it's time to put in that work. Everybody wants the results, but nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants to suffer. But you've always been willing to do what others want to get what others don't. That ain't normal. That's not just motivation. That's identity. It's who you are at your core. It's in your DNA. You come from a line of fighters. You come from people who didn't have it easy, who had to hustle just to survive. That grit, that resilience, it was passed down to you. You don't fold under pressure because you were raised in it. You don't break in the fire because you were forged in it. Let's get something straight. Just because you're not where you want to be yet doesn't mean you're not built for it. It means you're still in process. And see, the difference between you and them is you don't quit in the process. You trust it. You embrace it. You understand that greatness is crafted in shadows. It's developed in those lonely hours when it's just you and the grind. They don't see that part. They just see the outcome. But you value the journey more than the applause. You gotta know your worth, because if you don't, the world will try to convince you that you're just like everybody else. But you ain't. You were never meant to blend in. You were designed to rise, to lead, to break generational curses. That's why your path has been hard. That's why the setbacks came stronger. Because greatness doesn't come with ease, it comes with war. And only warriors survive it. You've been through some things that should have destroyed you, but you're still here. You faced betrayal, failure, rejection, disappointment, but you didn't lose yourself. You didn't lay down and die. You got back up. You kept moving. You stayed true to the grind. That's not average. That's built different. There's something powerful about a person who knows who they are. When you know you're built different, you stop asking for permission. You stop looking for validation. You stop waiting for the perfect time. You understand that nobody gives you a seat at the table. You'll build your own. You'll build your own. You become unstoppable. You move with a sense of purpose that the average person can't comprehend. Because while they're focused on being seen, you're focused on being effective. While they're busy trying to look successful, you're out there becoming it. Most people chase comfort. But you've never been comfortable playing small. You've never been okay with mediocrity. That hunger in your gut, that burning in your chest, that's purpose pulling at you. That's your DNA rejecting average. That's your spirit reminding you that you were born to do something legendary. And if that means losing sleep, losing people, losing comfort, so be it. You weren't put on this earth to survive. You were put here to dominate. You were put here to change the game. So no, you don't need what they need. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need constant motivation. And you sure don't need everybody clapping for you. Because you've learned how to clap for yourself. You've learned how to create your own momentum. That's the kind of power that can't be stopped. That's the type of strength that can't be measured. That's what makes you different. This world will try to box you in, label you limits. But when you know your DNA ain't average, you break every label. You break every box. You rewrite every rule. You create your own lane. You become the example of what's possible when someone refuses to settle. That's what separates winners from watchers. That's what separates legends from the rest. It's not talent. It's not opportunity. It's mindset. It's grit. It's knowing without a doubt that you're built different and then living like it every single day. Pain was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you. That's what separates you from everybody else. So most people run from pain. Most people avoid discomfort. Most people pray for the storm to pass, but you stood in the middle of the storm and let it mold you. You took the hits and didn't fold. You took the losses and turned them into lessons. You didn't cry and quit. You cried and kept going. That's different. That's not weakness. That's real strength. That's what makes you who you are. The truth is, pain introduced you to parts of yourself you never would have met otherwise. Pain brought you face to face with your own potential. See, anybody can smile when everything's going right. Anybody can be positive when they're winning. But it takes a real one to smile through struggle. It takes a different kind of strength to show up every day when your world is falling apart. And that's what you did. You kept showing up. You kept grinding. You kept believing. Not because it was easy, but because you made a decision that nothing, not pain, not failure, not fear was going to stop you. You didn't just survive the pain. You evolved through it. You didn't just get through the hard times. You grew through them. That's why you think differently. That's why you move with power. That's why you don't panic when life hits you, because life already hit you before and you bounce back. Life already tested you and you passed the test. You've already seen what rock bottom looks like, so now you fear nothing. You already lost what you thought you couldn't live without, and yet you're still breathing, still moving, still hungry. That's what being built different is all about. Pain taught you discipline. It taught you how to stay focused when everything around you was trying to distract you. It taught you how to be loyal to your goals when nothing was going right. It taught you to work in silence, to fight in the dark, to trust the process even when it didn't make sense. Pain became your training ground. It became your mentor. It sharpened your mind and hardened your will. Most people break under pressure, but you became pressure. You didn't let pain control your story. You used it to rewrite your story. You took all the things meant to destroy you and turned them into fuel. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every disappointment, you took it all and made it your reason to go harder. You didn't let it make you bitter. You let it make you better. You didn't let it make you weaker. You let it make you wiser. You're dangerous now, not because you've never been hurt, but because you know how to move through hurt and keep going. That's rare. That's special. That's different when you operate from pain. You move with a sense of urgency that people who never struggle can't understand. You know what it's like to want something so bad because you've lived without it. You know what it feels like to have the odds stacked against you. You've had nights where you cried in silence, days where you questioned everything, moments where you wanted to quit, but you didn't. You stayed in the game. You got back up. You said, I'm not done yet. That's not normal. That's built different. Pain also gave you purpose. It clarified your vision. It stripped away the distractions and brought you back to what really matters. It made you appreciate the little victories. It made you work with what you had. It taught you how to create your own opportunities when none were given. And now every move you make is intentional. Every goal you chase is personal. You're not just working hard. You're working with meaning. You're not just grinding, you're growing. That mindset, that fire, that resilience, it didn't come from winning. It came from hurting. And now when people see you, they think it was always like this. They think it came easy. They don't see the nights you went without sleep, the meals you skipped to keep chasing your dream, the friends you lost along the way, the battles you fought within yourself. They don't see the pain you carried in silence. But you know, and that's what makes you grateful. That's what keeps you humble, because you didn't get here by luck. You didn't get here because someone handed you something. You got here through pain, through fight, through relentless perseverance. You owe it to yourself to keep going. You didn't come this far just to stop. You didn't survive all that pain to live a half life. You were built in the dark so you could shine in the light. You were refined in the fire so you could stand the heat when it gets intense. So when pain shows up again, and it will, you don't run, you welcome it. Because you know it's not there to stop you. It's there to strengthen you. And every time you face it, you become stronger, wiser, sharper, and more unshakable. So let the world know pain didn't break you. Pain built you. Before the spotlight comes the sacrifice. Before the recognition comes the routine. Before the success comes the silence, the struggle, the discipline that nobody sees. Too many people want the platform, but not the process. They want the stage, but not the structure. They want the result, but not the foundation. And here's the truth. If you build for fame without first laying the foundation, you'll collapse under the weight of everything you thought you wanted. Real builders don't start with the exterior. They start underground. They go deep. Because what you're standing on will always matter more than what people see. The world may be impressed by the height, but heaven is concerned with the depth. If your roots don't run deep, it doesn't matter how fast you go, you won't last. And if you're in a season right now where it feels like nothing is visible, where you're digging and seeing no reward, you need to hear this. You're not being overlooked. You're being prepared. Everybody wants to go up, but very few are willing to go deep. And that's the difference between those who build something that lasts and those who fade out when the pressure hits. You can't cheat the process. You can't rush the foundation, because fame without foundation is a setup for failure. The spotlight doesn't change you, it exposes you. If your identity isn't rooted, if your character isn't built, if your heart isn't right, the same platform you prayed for will be the one that breaks you. Builders understand that the most important part of the structure is the part nobody claps for. It's the early morning, the late nights, the quiet obedience, the consistent effort when nobody is looking. That's where the foundation is poured. That's where legacy begins. There's something sacred about the hidden seasons, the times when you're doing the work, showing up, grinding, and nobody's celebrating it. That's where your strength is formed. That's where your motives get purified. That's where you learn to be faithful without needing to be seen. If you can be trusted in the dark, you can be trusted in the light. But if you chase the light before you're ready, it will expose every crack you tried to cover up. That's why God builds you in private before he blesses you in public. He's not trying to delay you, and he's trying to root you. He's not punishing you with preparation. He's protecting you with it. Because the higher you want to go, the deeper you have to be anchored. And the deeper the anchor, the stronger the structure. There's a temptation in this generation to chase visibility over value, to chase likes over legacy, to prioritize attention instead of authenticity. But builders don't play to the crowd. Builders know who they are when no one's watching. Builders value obedience over opinion, purpose over popularity, because they understand that building something real takes time. It takes testing. It takes trust. They're not in it for the quick ride. They're in it for the long haul. They're not just trying to impress. They're trying to impress. They're trying to impact. And that kind of impact is born out of integrity, not just talent, not just gifting, but integrity. Doing the right thing when nobody will know, keeping your word, showing up on time, finishing what you started, saying no to what distracts and yes to what develops. There are people who look successful for a moment, but because they didn't have a foundation, they crumbled when life got heavy. They had the applause, but they didn't have the alignment. They had the reach, but they didn't have the roots. But they didn't have the roots. And reach without roots is dangerous. It's unstable. It looks good on the surface, but it can't handle the weight of pressure, criticism, betrayal, or even success. That's why you have to focus more on who you're becoming than what you're building. Because if you become the right person, you'll build the right thing. But if you skip the foundation and go straight to the frame, don't be surprised when it all falls apart. God is more concerned with your character than your clout. More concerned with your faithfulness than your fame. He'll let you dig for a while before he lets you rise. So if you're in a season where nobody sees you, keep building. If you're putting in the work and it seems like nothing's happening, don't stop. That's not failure. It's formation. You're being rooted. You're being strengthened. The deeper you go now, the higher you can go later. Don't despise the days of small beginning. Don't despise the silent year. Don't despise the times you're hidden. That's where the real work is being done. That's where greatness is forged. Because the foundation comes before the fame. And if you build it right, if you dig deep, if you stay faithful, when the time comes to rise, you won't be shaken. You won't be moved. Because you didn't just build a platform. You build a life that can hold what's coming. And that right there is what lasts. Discipline is the difference between wanting it and actually getting it. Everybody wants success. Everybody talks about how bad they want it. They post about it. They dream about it. But very few are willing to put in the work every single day when the feelings fade, when the excitement dies down, when nobody is watching. Discipline is what separates the talkers from the doers. It's what takes average effort and turns it into elite execution. When you're built different, you don't rely on how you feel. You rely on what you committed to. Because your emotions will lie to you, but discipline never will. There will be mornings when you don't feel like getting up. Days when your body is tired, your mind is foggy, and quitting looks easier than grinding. But the ones who are disciplined, they don't have Ask, do I feel like it? They say, it's time to go. They understand that greatness isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do when you don't feel like it. And that's the part people don't see. That's the part they don't post. It's the lonely nights, the early mornings, the quiet sacrifices. Discipline doesn't shout. It moves in silence. It builds when nobody's clapping. It works when nobody's paying attention. That's how winners are made. Desire is emotional. It fades. You can wake up one day feeling motivated and the next day feeling broken. But discipline is a decision. It's saying, no matter what comes, I'm still showing up. It's putting your head down and doing the work even when your heart's not in it. It's choosing long-term success over short-term comfort. And the truth is, most people don't lose because they're not talented. They lose because they're inconsistent. They stop when it gets hard. But the discipline, they keep going. They trust the process. They understand that repetition is the foundation of mastery. Discipline is choosing progress over pride. It's listening to feedback instead of running from it. It's sacrificing what's fun now for what's fulfilling later. It's not easy, not even close, but it's worth it. Because while everyone else is distracted, the disciplined are dialed in. While everyone else is wasting time, the disciplined are investing it. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you level up. Not with talent alone, but with relentless consistency. You can have all the potential in the world, but if you can't lock in and stay locked in, it means nothing. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary isn't always skill. It's stamina. It's the ability to keep doing the right thing long after the feeling has left. That's what discipline gives you. It gives you staying power. It gives you strength when motivation runs dry, because there will be seasons where it feels like nothing is working, where results are slow, where doubt creeps in. And in those moments, motivation won't save you. Discipline will. Discipline will drag you out of bed. Discipline will push you through the workout. Discipline will keep you grinding even when the rewards haven't come yet. Being built different means you don't just chase goals. You build systems. You create habits that lead to success. You structure your life in a way that sets you up to win. You understand that success isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's who you are every day. When you commit to discipline, you stop waiting for the perfect time. You stop making excuses. You stop depending on someone else to keep you accountable, because you hold yourself accountable. You show up even when nobody tells you to. You execute even when it's uncomfortable. Discipline isn't just about grinding. It's about self-control. It's about saying no to the things that pull you off track. It's about protecting your energy, your time, your focus. It's about making hard decisions over and over again. And most people won't understand it. They'll say you're upset. They'll say you're too serious. But they don't know what you're building. They don't know what it took to get here. They don't know how many times you've had to say no to what you wanted in the moment so you can say yes to the future you're chasing. You weren't built to be average. You weren't built to live a life based on feelings. You were built to rise. You were built to lead. And leaders don't move based on emotion. They move based on mission. Discipline is your weapon. It's your shield. It's your anchor. And when life gets chaotic, when things fall apart, when nothing goes to plan, it's your discipline that will carry you through. It's what keeps your vision alive when everything else is screaming. You give up. So don't rely on motivation. Don't wait until you feel inspired. Build discipline like your life depends on it, because it does. Every great thing you're trying to create starts with the ability to control yourself, to guide your focus, to make yourself do what must be done even when it's hard. Pressure isn't your enemy. It's your proving ground. It's the place where greatness is revealed, not created. Anybody can perform when things are easy, when life is solved, when everything's going according to plan. But when you're under pressure, when the weight of the world is on your shoulders, when the clock is ticking and failure is a possibility, that's when we see who's built different. Some people fold under pressure, others focus. Some run, others rise, and you ride. Because pressure doesn't scare you, it sharpens you. Pressure brings out the real you, not the version you post online, not the version that's polished and pretty. No, pressure brings out the fighter, the grinder, the beast that refuses to break. When you're built different, you understand that pressure is part of the process. You stop seeing it as a punishment and start seeing it as a privilege. Because not everybody is trusted with pressure. Not everybody is trusted to lead when the stakes are high. Not everybody is called to carry weight that others couldn't handle. But you are. You've been through enough to know pressure is a sign you're close. Close to your next level. Close to your breakthrough. Close to that version of you you've been grinding to become. And that version, that next level of you, doesn't come through comfort. It doesn't come through convenience. It comes through challenge, through resistance, through pressure. And when you're under it, you don't panic. You perform. You don't complain. You compete. That's what makes you different. You were built for these moments. Pressure separates the committed from the curious. Everyone wants success until they feel the pressure that comes with it. The pressure to deliver. The pressure to stay disciplined. The pressure to keep showing up when nothing's working. That's when people drop out. That's when they retreat. But you dig deeper. Because you know diamonds don't come from ease. They come from extreme pressure. And you're a diamond in the making. You don't crack under pressure. You become unbreakable. When you build different, you welcome pressure. You don't run from big moments. You rise to meet them. You want the ball when the game's on the line. You want the mic when the stakes are high. You want the shot when everyone else is scared to take it. That's not arrogance. That's confidence earned through preparation, through repetition, through pain. Because pressure exposes the truth, and you've been preparing too long to be exposed. You don't buckle. You break barriers. You don't stress. You execute. Most people want the crown, but they don't want the pressure that comes with wearing it. They want success, but not the responsibility. They want the platform, but not the pressure to perform consistently. But when you're built different, pressure is your playground. You've trained your mind to stay calm in chaos. You've trained your heart to stay steady in storms. You don't let pressure distract you. You let it direct you. Pressure creates legacy. The moments of pressure are the ones people remember. It's the fourth quarter. It's the last rep. It's the deadline. It's when your back's against the wall. That's when people decide if you're average or elite. And you weren't built to be average. You weren't created to shrink. You were born to stand tall when the world is trying to break you. You were born to rise when everything in you wants to quit. Pressure activates your purpose. You've been through enough storms to know how to navigate in the dark. You faced enough doubt to know how to hold your faith. So when pressure comes again, and it will, you don't flinch. You don't hesitate. You square up. You say, let's go. Because this is what you've trained for. This is what you've sacrificed for. Pressure just means you're in position. Pressure just means something big is coming. And when that moment arrives, you'll be ready, not because the pressure is light, but because you're stronger than anything trying to crush you. So don't fear pressure. Embrace it. Let it refine you. Let it reveal you. Let it fuel you. Every time pressure comes, it's life asking how bad you really want it. And you need to answer with your action, with your resilience, with your excellence. Because when you move with power under pressure, when you keep your standards high, no matter how intense it gets, you show the world that you're not just another player in the game. You're a champion. You're a warrior. Built different. Pressure doesn't break you. It builds you. It builds you. Every ounce of it is shaping you into someone who's unshakable. Someone who can carry the weight of destiny. Someone who can rise in the moments that matter most. You've already been through too much to give in now. So stand tall. Lean into the fire. Let the pressure elevate you. Because this is your moment, and you were made for it.